Hello and welcome to the weekend video. It's been a while. I hope you had a happy and peaceful Christmas, and I hope the new year will be, well, if nothing else, full of surprises, eh? Um, I'm going to go through, as usual, go through the markets, go through the 9 markets that I follow, and we'll just fill you in on what I think is going on. We had an interesting spike in crude oil this morning, out of what you call it, some geopolitical action, let's say, over in Baghdad. Um, anyway, let's get into it and peel it apart, see what we can make of it. Okay, so euro dollar enjoyed, well, really enjoy it, did it? A reasonable rally over the last 3 months. I still think it's a three-wave rally, pretty much. Um, we had a run up into the early week high there, and then we've sold off a good percentage of that so far, off that kind of interim low there, 110.60. Um, I don't think there's much else. I, there's no major change in what I think is going on here. Go out to the daily chart. There's an alternate account for a larger second wave rally, which is possible, but for the moment, we're still counting a series of 1, 2, 1. Possible running flat two, and now down into a third wave. Um, I am cognizant of the kind of overweight bearish sentiment in Eurodollar right now, so we'll just have to keep that in mind as the count goes forward. Because if we get any break of that wave two high here at 114.20, that would probably set us up for a rally, at least probably up to 118.20, in that alternate account. So let's just keep an eye on that over the next couple of weeks. For the moment, the short-term action holds with the long-term count, that we should see further downside, but just keeping in mind that possibility is there for a larger retracement higher. So anyway, the 4-hour count shows a top in wave two, and we should be heading down into wave three of three, but that should take a while to get underway. You can see here that this is probably some sort of a combination wave, double combination, maybe even a triple combination, depending on how you look at it. Um, wave two here. So we have 3 waves up in wave two, and now we're moving impulsively down again, which was in line with what we should be expecting if we're turning down into a third wave. So next week we want to see 5 waves down continue in wave one of three, you could call it, or one of three. Sorry, and let's see how that pans out. So far we have a high at 112.39 to kind of to watch, and that level should hold, and we should continue impulsively lower. Okay, so that's euro dollar. Pound dollar is down again today, starting the day down, out of possible corrective 3-wave rally. We'll get into that in a second. There could be something larger going on here as well, but we had 5 waves up over the last 6 months or so, yeah, to complete wave C of 2, and we've had a nice turnaround against that level so far. Okay, so get into the hourly chart here. I'm calling that recent decline here wave one, and that should be wave one of one of a larger wave three. So we have a possible 3 waves up, with a triangle in the interim here in wave B. So that's A, B, C. That could be wave two, or we could be seeing a larger kind of 3 waves up in A, 3 waves down maybe in B, and then 5 waves up to complete a flat wave two. And that would, we should know that by middle of next week anyway. If that's the case, then we should fall in 3 waves to a slight higher low above 129, and then rally again, complete wave two, and then head down into wave three. So um, as always, there's a couple of options. For the moment, we're at least short term down, and if this current count is correct, it's longer term down. Okay. Dollar yen is getting very interesting now, in terms of the longer term count and the shorter term count. So we have 3 waves down, completed, well, nearing completion, if not complete, uh, at today's lows or the overnight lows, let's say. Possible 5 waves down, still yet to be, I suppose, confirmed. We had a little spike yesterday, which I thought may have been the beginning of wave one, but that didn't turn out to be so. We have the longer term. Well, let's get out to the longer term to show you what I'm talking about. A large triangle in wave B. And if we get into the 4-hour chart, we have uh, a B wave triangle completing. Wave E of that B wave triangle should complete in 3 waves, and we have an A, B, C pattern. 3 waves down, now nearing the point of completion. So if that's the case, well then we should be beginning a wave C rally in dollar yen. So let's get into the hourly chart and we'll see how this. There's the wave D high, so that lies at 109.72. So that kind of becomes key resistance now at the moment, because if this triangle is completing in wave B, this very large wave B here, then we should head up over the next couple of weeks. We should head up in 5 waves and break that 109.70 at least before any correction happens. But for the moment, let's concentrate on this E wave here. So we have an A wave down, possible B wave up, and then maybe a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or this could be a wave 1, 2. Maybe we're still working on wave 3 here. So a couple of options. Longer term, the prospects are looking quite bright for dollar yen. So let's see if we can close out this C wave and get an impulsive rally out of that next week. If we do, well, then we'll be looking for a bullish higher low in wave 2, and then hopefully maybe a trade up in wave 3. We'll see how that goes. Okay, stocks hit a new high. Actually, that was the overnight. The futures market spiked to a new high. Um, Interestingly enough, that high in wave 5 blue there has hit 161.8 of wave 1 blue. So again, another kind of mile marker in what I'm expecting coming in the not too distant future. Let's get this chart cleaned up a little bit. Should have done this beforehand, but as per usual, leave it to the last minute. Okay, so in general, over the next month or so, I'll be expecting 5 waves down to begin the bear market. It's been obviously trying time, um, but we are at every new high. We're closer to that eventual top, and each time we make that new high, we like this Fibonacci target to we we end up kind of ticking off one last key point along the way for the bull market. Um, I think we're done. I think we have been done for a while, but all we're doing is creating this topping process, and we should be heading lower pretty soon. If 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 this general kind of target level here at 120 or 28,900 or 920 or so is in fact the top. I know that's the futures market, but we'll see how the actual market um, reacts today. We may hit that level again in the actual cash market, so we'll see what happens. Um, but it is a nice spike lower, in line with what I'm expecting. Let's just see what the cash market does when that opens later on, or in 20 minutes time or so. The pre-market is already open, so we've got a little spike off the low in the futures. So the pre-market is trading higher. We'll see how this develops. If we may get a wave 1 and 2 down in the blended chart here that I have. So let's see how that works out. In general, next week I do still want to see this market roll over pretty soon, and if it does, It's going to be a very exciting year if it does. It's going to be a seriously exciting year. Um, okay, so next week we'll be looking for the beginning of this larger five-wave move to the downside. Um, Key support here at the moment lies at this previous fourth wave low, so that'll be 27,320. I would like to see this wave one break that 27,320, and I think it could do it quickly in the space of a week or so if we do get a proper impulsive move lower. Okay, there's gold. Gold spiked again today, and I think well, it got up into the target range, so I think there's no reason to, or there's every reason to believe that we have wave three of. Well, I was counting that wave three of one, but this could be wave three of three also. Let's get out to the 4-hour chart. We'll see how this is playing out. You see, we have a third wave high. The recent high back in what was it? September, early September. That was 1556. That was a that counts as wave three in green there. So that'll be wave three of three. And we had a three-wave decline in wave four. This could also be counted. This whole sideways move here could also be counted as a triangle that would have bottomed out a couple of weeks ago. And the triangle is interesting as well. And the only kind of a problem I have with it is these final couple of waves here would be relatively small in comparison to the previous moves in waves A, B, and C. So that if it was a triangle, it would be sorry, it would be A down into, excuse me, it would be, yeah, I'll have to leave that there for the moment. It would be A, if this was a triangle, it would be A down into this um, November low, and then we'd have a B, C, D, and E. So that C, D, and E would be very small in comparison to A. So I wouldn't tilt, even though it's a viable count. It has some kind of, uh, let's say, undesirable um, aspects to it. But still, it's there on the back burner. There's no reason why I couldn't use it either. For the moment, it looks like we have a three-wave decline in wave four, and we're moving higher up into wave five. And this wave five should bring us up above 1650, I think, in time. Maybe even higher. Maybe up towards 1700. We'll see how that goes. The daily count would suggest that we would push up to maybe 1730 or so if this longer-term trend channel was to be filled in wave five. So we'll see how that works out. Up around the 1700s would be good. Okay, so let's get to the 4-hour chart again. So this is wave five of three that I'm tracking right now, and so far we're moving higher nicely into that. Let's get into the hourly chart and we'll see how that is. So wave five, it could be called, it could be broken down like this. So wave one of five, wave two of five is done. So what we're doing now is we're extending higher in wave three of five. So we have wave one of three done, wave two of three, and now we've the extension that has happened in the last week or so has been wave three of five. Um, so we're correcting off that high. I was looking for a push up towards that 1550 level. We seem to have got that early this morning. So was it 1551.70 or something high there? So it's plausible now that we are correcting possibly into wave four. So this band of resistance of these previous two highs, you can see it was an internal B wave high here and the recent wave three high. So for the moment, we're kind of selling off at a possible high in wave three of three, and maybe this could begin wave four. So we'll see how that goes next week. Some sort of a corrective pattern in wave four, and if that's the case, well then we should again head higher into wave five. Now the alternate count on this one here, I may as well actually fill it in. The alternate count would call this high wave one, and let's say some sort of a three-wave decline off that as wave two. So if this alternate count here, the triangle wave four was correct, then this would be wave one of five, and then we'd see a three-wave decline in wave two of five, which is still again quite viable. again, and that would suggest again that we'd have a rally ahead in wave 3 of 5. So I think there's still further upside, longer term or medium term in the next few months. For the moment, next week we're probably going to have to clear out some sort of a corrective action, possibly in wave 4 of 3 or wave 2 of 5. So let's see how that goes. Okay, crude oil broke to a new high again today out of that um, reactionary rally this morning. We're kind of down off the highs again this morning, so uh, that has triggered an alternate count here for wave 2 in blue. So we have wave 1 down. Well, maybe I should go out to the daily chart here. We have wave 1 down in green, wave 2 up in green, wave 1 down in blue, wave A, B, C up in wave 2 in blue, and then we should head down in wave 3. I've been looking for that third wave decline to begin. It just has eluded me so far. So next week, I'm just going to still concentrate on that and see if we get a turn lower into wave 3. The alternate count here for the moment still lies as or still exists as a larger wave 2, so that'll be wave A of 2, so some sort of B wave of 2, and then wave C of 2. And that would still suggest a longer term decline down in wave 3. Uh, for the moment, we have a reasonable 5 wave move lower in wave 1, and this is, if nothing else, this is corrective. So this sideways move over the last, let's say, 6 months or so is corrective. So we should see this whole rally retraced quite quickly once wave 3 of 3 gets underway. So the 4-hour chart shows wave 1 down and an ABC possible wave 2, and then a move down into wave 3. So this initial resistance has not held. So that was a previous spike high there at that was created last September or so, 63.60. So once that broke, that kind of triggered the alternate count. So it doesn't change anything long term, but it does make it a little bit more frustrating in the short term. So let's see next week. Let's get to the hourly chart. If we have a 3-wave rally in wave C, so that'll make it like a triple combination, probably wave 2. So if wave C is complete here at today's spike high, then we have a 3-wave rally in wave C, so that'll be denoted by this C wave here. And within this C wave, we've broken out into 5 waves. So it's possible 1, 2, 3, 4, and then today's spike high as wave 5. So we will see how the market reacts next week. If we get a 5-wave decline to push down below these previous shoulders here, so somewhere down into the $60 mark again in 5 waves would denote or would signal that wave 3 down is beginning. Interestingly enough, we should be able to form some sort of right-hand shoulder, let's say, in wave 2, and we'll see how that works out over the next probably a couple of weeks before that happens. Yep, so that's the short term. Short term versus long term, we'll see. Let's move on to the S&P. Again, we've had this extended rally punctuated by sharp declines in the last couple of days. And even back here, there was a nice, back in at the beginning of December, there was a nice decline off that all-time high, which we've broken out above again. So it looks like this previous decline, this sharp decline here, was part of a 4th wave. So that would be wave C of wave 4. And then we rallied again in wave 5. And wave 5 seems to have done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 again. So, as I mentioned earlier in the Dow, we've had a sell-off this morning, but we're buying back in the early pre-market this morning again. So it's yet to be decided whether this is only a 4th wave again, or if this is the beginning of wave 1 down. So if we hold, let's say, below that 3250 level, that could be a 2nd wave lower high today. Just have to let the market play out and see what happens. the the larger pattern is pretty set. This is a top, this is nothing but a top, and eventually we will get our bearish signal off this top. So I'm just trying to be as patient as I can be at the moment, to be honest, to identify this kind of lower high, bearish lower high off that eventual high. So today's action, let's see if we hold that 3250 level, and let's see if we get some sort of a beginning of a decline next week. Okay, so let's get into silver. The 4-hour chart shows a wave 4 correction done, and we're moving up into a fifth wave. And this fifth wave has every possibility of bringing us up above $20 again. I'd expect a break of 1962 on the low end anyway. So that was the previous high of wave 3. So wave 5, if that's underway, we should start pushing above pushing up towards that $19 level again. It looks like there's some sort of a short-term correction going on right now. So let's get into the hourly chart to see what that's all about. Um, Off the wave 4 low, it looks like we've completed wave 1, 2, possibly wave 3. You could also call it, today's early high as wave 3, but we'll see how that kind of pans out over the next. Well, let's say today's trade. I was contemplating some sort of a triangle in fourth wave in wave 4, but could be a expanded flat, so it could be 3 waves down in A, 3 up in B, and then a run down to this initial support again at 1770 in wave C of 4. So we should know by this evening, let's say tonight's update, if this is unfolded into an expanded flat correction. And then we'd expect next week to run higher again to complete wave 1 up. So it looks like in silver, at least, it looks like we should get another. Once wave 4 completes, we should get another spike up in wave 5 of 1, and then we'll get a correction in wave 2. And this correction in wave 2 should probably fall back to this kind of shoulder we're building here at the moment again. So 1770 will look like the floor, hopefully, for prices over the next, let's say, 2 weeks or so. When wave 1 completes, then wave 2 completes, and then we should rally again in wave 3. Um, so for let's say, excuse me, I'm kind of nursing a cold at the moment. If wave 4 completes today, then we should rally early next week in wave 5 of 1. So depending on what pattern wave 4 takes over the next couple of days, we should be looking for another spike higher next week anyway. So let's see how that turns out. Okay, so let's get into bonds. The alternate count has been triggered today. So it looks like we've got a wave 1 down, an A, B, C larger, wave 2 now underway. So the initial target for wave 2 will be up around that 130.50 level. That'll be a previous fourth wave there. Okay, so this is the hourly chart. So it looks like we have possible 3 waves up in A, some sort of possible triangle. I think would be the most likely the best way to count it, even though it's a real lopsided kind of triangle. That'd be A down, B up, C, D, and E. And then off that, we should be beginning with C. So we have A, B, and C in this combination wave 2. If that's the case, well, then we should push up towards the trend line there, possibly up to resistance about 130.46. So we should break the wave A high at a minimum. So that'll be 130.11. So 130.11 to 130.50 kind of area, we should be looking for wave C to complete, and then fall again back down into wave 3. Oh, that actually that clears it up. That is the run through of the markets this week. Thanks so much for hanging on and being around throughout the week, and hope you have a nice weekend, restful weekend after the New Year season. All your partying is done. Um, so stay in and put your feet up, and we will see you back again tonight, actually, for members, and on Monday evening again after the weekend. Okay, have a great weekend. God bless. Be good. Godspeed. Bye bye.